What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JJD TV. I'm your host, Josh, and I woke up this morning fairly upset. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of you guys woke up this morning fairly upset as well because we obviously had a very disappointing result against Borussia Mönchengladbach. And I did a lot of thinking on the channel, and I just kind of wanted to come live today and just shoot the shit. Basically, just kind of see what's going on with you guys, what you guys are thinking, and I just had a brainstorm which made me want to basically go live, and that is a potential starting 11. And I would love to hear what you guys think about it because, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't planning on going live today. I just woke up with a very negative, thoughts, and you need to get out there and address some of them. So I figured we'd go live today and talk about a little formation that I kind of just immediately came up with and see what you guys think of it. It's tough to want to argue that Dortmund's in good shape right now because they obviously had a very poor performance against Borussia Mönchengladbach. We went over our 5 takeaways. I felt like I was very reactionary yesterday. I was on Dortmund's Twitch, so I had to be very, behaved and not try to freak out and get mad. But I was very frustrated. It was a very frustrating game to watch because it was just honestly a very awful game to watch. There was a lot of individual mistakes from the defending, from our goalkeeper, and there was also a lot of negativity on social media, so that's rightfully so. I mean, it was a very frustrating game to watch, but I just felt like I needed to talk to some people today, so I did, and I had an idea, and my idea was a change of shape, and the change in shape I had is the 4-1-4-1 formation. And the 4-1-4-1 formation is the shape I'm going with because this is a formation that we have played before in the past. It's a formation that Terzic is relatively familiar with from a few different managers he's worked with, and I feel like we have the personnel to potentially make it work. And these are my thoughts about that. I don't want to touch on Berkey too much because, I mean, we know he had a very, very poor outing, and that's just, is what it is, but I don't think that it's going to be looked any differently, and I feel like Berkey will be the guy going forward for us. Looking at the back four, considering that there's not much other options, I mean, I'm more comfortable, honestly, with Meunier as our right back than I am for Marai, which is why I went with Meunier as a right back. I went with Hummels and Akanji again as our center backs because they're literally our only options right now. I would love to see one of them get some rest. I would love to see some type of loan signing come in. Maybe Dortmund took a look at my emergency loan signing center backs, but who knows? And then on left back, I threw Schultz. And I threw Schultz because the left back side has been a bit of an issue in the recent games, and I felt that having Schultz play left back, which he is a left back, left wing back, could kind of maybe tighten up things. Not that Schultz obviously is in the best of form, but the reason it could potentially tighten things up is because playing just in front of him is Guerrero, and Guerrero, as attacking as he is, does have a little bit of defensive awareness to his game. So I think maybe doubling up on that side, knowing that Schultz and Guerrero aren't in great form and aren't obviously unbelievable shut down left backs, but maybe them playing together can lead to a little bit more sturdiness from the back, and having Guerrero be able to go forward the way he can makes it a little interesting. On the right-hand side is Sancho, and that's where Sancho played when he originally broke into the starting 11 years ago. He was playing in a 4-1-4-1, and he was playing on the right-hand side. I know he's got the talent to do so. As our holding midfielder, it's clearly got to be Delaney. I think he could run that number 6 position very well. And then I think Brandt, obviously, is waking back up and finding a little bit of form. I think putting him in a position where he's relatively comfortable in, whether it's the number 8 or number 10, and put alongside potentially Chan, who's got a little bit of energy with him. I think those two could go a little bit chemistry together. I'm not really sure. I'm hoping something can change in that midfield, and then obviously have Haaland up front. I think the 4-2-3-1 is looking very predictable going forward for our oppositions. The defense is very stretched. The midfield isn't compact, and Terzic clearly wants to stick with that 4-2-3-1. He's familiar with it. He's been under managers who've been in that formation, but he also has familiarity with the 4-1-4-1, and so do some of these players. So this is the formation I just wanted to toss out, mainly because it addresses the left-hand side. It gives Guerrero, obviously, a little bit more movement going forward, as well as it doubles up with defensive on that left-hand side with Schultz and Guerrero. I think Brandt obviously can do well beside Chan and then Delaney. I think that's a little more sturdy midfield. Still has Brandt going forward. We can link up with Guerrero, Sancho, and Haaland. And it's just something different because we've been very, very stagnant in the last few games, and obviously 3 very disappointing results. I would love to see a formation like this. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't know, but I want to hear what some of you guys had to think. Just gave you my thoughts on my hopefully preferred formation that could be coming up. We said, hey, Josh, how are you, man? Not the best. Woke up very, very sad. And yeah, I mean, this formation is dropping Royce. I mean, I'm one of Marco Royce's biggest fans. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's a formation I wanted to test out because Royce has had a ton of minutes, and I think that he could potentially have a rest. And if we're going to give him a rest, we might as well try a formation that could potentially work for some other people. And I think Brandt can play that number 8 well alongside Chan and Delaney. And I think it just offers something a little bit different. How are you, my friend? I want a 3-4-3, mate. We will not see a 3-4-3. I don't think it's possible just because of the squad we have. We have absolutely no other center backs to make it work. The only way I could see a 3-4-3 work, and I don't think it will because, like I said, the lack of center backs makes it very hard to make that formation work, as well as Edin Terzic doesn't really fancy it. But if we were to go into 3-4-3, I mean, Chan would have to drop back with Akanji and Hummels. That would lead to Mariah or Mounier on the right wing back, Guerrero left wing back, more than likely maybe Brandt and Delaney in the center mids with Holland, Sancho, and Reina up front. I don't have a problem with the 3-4-3. I just don't think that's a realistic formation that Terzic is comfortable with running. I think the 4-1-4-1 is because, like I said, he's got experience with it, and I don't know. It'll be something new, something hopefully that these players can link. And the main thing about this formation is having Schultz and Guerrero on that left hand side. I just think it's a lot more defensive, and it also gives Guerrero a little bit of freedom going forward. Wolfsburg in the top 4. Our Wolfsburg fans here. What do you think of Dahoud leaving? I don't know what to think about that. I don't think he actually will. I know that there's been rumors this morning I've been reading, but it's so hard to look into them. I can't see them letting Dahoud leave, considering that, well, I mean, I don't know. We don't play him, so maybe, but we already, with the injury to Witsel, it doesn't make much sense to drop him unless we're going to be promoting somebody up. So, I mean, I wouldn't see Dahoud leaving. I could be completely wrong, and if he is, we'd address it. Leipzig lost, so if Bayern win tomorrow, that will be so much fun. Yep, and the Bundesliga title is also disappearing for any other, teams. But if you guys like the video, share it, subscribe to this amazing channel. Such a supportive viewer, I really appreciate it. Our Wolfsburg fan is very excited here. Hummels, Chan, Delaney, Zagadou, and Akanji for center back mate. Also Jude and Brandt in the midfield, Guerrero and Mariah on wing backs, along with Royce and Holland up front and Jaden on the right. I mean, potentially, I don't think Delaney and Chan prefer to play in that outside center back position, and I just don't think that Terzic really fancies it. I honestly don't. I mean, again, I could be wrong. I'm just gonna move this up here for you guys. See if I can. I just don't see it happening because I just don't think he fancies that formation. I really think that the 3-4-3 was a Fabra formation. I do think we have some of the personnel to do it, but the center back is an issue. No, we've got some Bayern fans here. You guys are rich. Mariah for Mounier. And potentially, we could potentially swap Mariah in for Mounier, but I just think as a right back position, honestly, Mounier is the better option. If we're going to a 3-4-3 formation, potentially Mariah, but I honestly don't see Terzic going into a 3-4-3. I don't think he fancies that formation at all, and I think that the center back issue could be addressed if we did switch into that 3-4-3, but I still don't think he will. That's why I'm trying to come up with a formation that is different from the 4-2-3-1. He's got familiarity with the 4-1-4-1, and I really like Guerrero on that left-hand side along with Schultz. I just think it could be a little bit more defensive awareness to his game and hopefully just shut down this very, very stretched defense we have right now. Yeah, and Royce, in this type of formation, Royce obviously wouldn't be in it. He wouldn't be able to fit into this formation. I would like to see it go. Royce is due for a break coming up, and I just think this would be something to shake things up. I don't want Royce in the starting 11s. He needs rest. He does need some rest. Without being the captain, Royce will be better. Like I said, I mean, Royce is due for a break, so I feel like if we're going to give him a break, he can only, in my opinion, Royce's best formation is the 4-2-3-1, playing as that number 10. But if we were to switch things up into Edin Terzic's, I think, preferred second formation, it would be a 4-1-4-1. And the outlets could come from Brandt, playing in a position he plays very well in the number 8. He's got defensive awareness there with Delaney and Chan, I think they could tighten up a little bit. But the biggest outlier for this is Guerrero, because Guerrero will basically be able to play as that a little further up left wing back position he likes so much. He can come back defensively if he needs to. He can go up in the attack. He can link up with Brandt, Sancho, Holland, and then you have Schultz as a backup. And I just think we need to address something defensively, but not take away from the creativity. And I think this could be an outlying formation that I would love to see happen and see what it could potentially do, especially with Brandt finding form. When Royce retires, he should be the coach. I think he needs a little more experience for that. But if Royce gets rest, we use this formation. Who would you remove for Royce? Well, Royce isn't in this formation. So if we rest Royce, then I would love to see this 4-1-4-1 formation work, because I think all these players in this 4-1-4-1 formation could potentially do something a little bit differently, bring a little bit more, honestly, sturdiness to the defense. I hope it's not as open. Our defense has just been run ragged of late. And it could be something else you could also potentially look at doing is, I mean, to give Akanji and Hummels a break, toss Chan as a center back and then put Jude in one of the center mids where Chan is. But I don't know. It's going to be tough because we absolutely, in my opinion, need another center back so we can give either Hummels or Akanji a rest, because for me, they look so tired. They're making mental mistakes, and rightfully so. They have a ton of minutes that they've played. What do you think about Chan as captain? I wouldn't want Chan as captain. I mean, if the captains, in my opinion, are Royce and then Hummels. Where's Hitz? Realistically, I put Berkey in, as I can just show you guys. I put Berkey in because Berkey is more than likely going to get the start. I don't think he's going to get dropped for Hitz. I don't think Hitz is honestly a better goalie. Berkey has had a couple, in my opinion, very, very poor games. I'm hoping he can bounce back. I don't know. Maybe it's a bold decision. Terzic does go with Hitz. I don't find it likely. That's why I went with Berkey myself. We need to buy Donny van de Beek from United. It's a good thing. I don't know. I mean, that's not who I'd be addressing. You guys need a loan. And we could only afford a loan if we get someone. And I would be going for a lone center back, as I obviously would like to. And invest in your youth again. We definitely do invest in our youth. We have a lot of, obviously, very talented players down in that U23 team. They're doing very, very good. This is just the formation I was thinking. Love your profile picture, my friend, little Victini. But yes, I'm trying to be realistic about it. When I thought of this formation, I know a lot can't be fixed overnight. I mean, set piece defending isn't really a tactical thing. That's more on the grounds. You need to pick up your man. Everyone is responsible. But the game seems so stretched. Guerrero seems lost as left back. He's giving nothing offensively. He's giving nothing defensively. That's why I really don't think we have the personnel right now for the 3-4-3. We don't have enough center backs. I don't think Terzic likes it or feels comfortable. Sometimes when you're a new manager, you like to stick with what you know. You know a 4-2-3-1, that's why you're sticking with it. But like I said, the most other formation that Terzic has experience with is this 4-1-4-1, as do a lot of these players. A lot of these players played under Tuchel. And like I said, Jadon Sancho started off his Dortmund career on that right mid position in a 4-1-4-1. I just think that having Guerrero have that ability to drift into the midfield, link up with Brandt, really just focus on his offense and then track back if he needs to. I think he would be better tracking back than Gio would. Obviously, he'd be better than potentially Hazard. And then hopefully Schultz can just find some type of form, knowing that he's got, well, it's actually Hummels to his left, and then Guerrero who can come back and help him out as well. And maybe hit starts for Berkey. I put Berkey in because I realistically don't think that anyone else besides Berkey will start, but you never know. Royce is assistant manager. I think one day he'll have a job in Dortmund for sure. I don't know what exactly it'll be. I agree. Captain Royce is much more stress on him. He also a father now. Well, like I said, Royce wouldn't be in this formation because it just doesn't suit his play style. But Royce is honestly due for rest, and this is a formation that could bring something a little differently, shake this team up. And I would love to see it. For me, the outlier with this formation is that left-hand side. And it just brings Guerrero. We know how good he is, but he has not been the Guerrero we know in the last few games. He doesn't like that left-back position. It's starting to show. And I just think giving him the freedom as a left midfielder instead of a wing-back, I think he would shine. I really, really do. Royce right now doesn't hurt our offense, but doesn't make it better. He's just not dangerous. And honestly, it's due time for Royce to have a break, which is why I thought of this formation today. I'm coming live with you guys. I want to see what you guys think about it. If Royce is not in the starting 11, then drop Sancho, and I hope Holland scores goals so you can play in the counters. Well, Sancho and Holland are right now our two most informed players, so they absolutely need to be in this formation. I think Sancho would be fine on that right-hand side. Guerrero would love playing as a left mid. Brandt plays as a comfortable number 8, and Holland up front. It's my preferred formation right now. I don't know about starting Delaney, very inconsistent, I guess, but no other choice until Witsel returns. For that number 6, like you said, there is no other choice. It has to be Delaney. He's got the attributes to hold down that number 6 position. Witsel could have done it well, but I think Delaney hopefully will get back to where he's best. I mean, he's had some pretty good outings this season already. Berkey is having some poor games, but Hintz isn't stronger. I totally agree. Bro, you can't write off Royce just like that. I'm not writing off Royce, guys. Not a chance. I mean, he's right behind me. I'll always back Royce, but the only reason I came up with this formation for 2 reasons. One, Marco Royce is due for rest. He's had a ton of minutes. He's getting up there in age, and it's his time to have a rest. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying kick him out of the team. I wasn't disappointed with his result against the Gladbach game. I thought he was fine. But what I do like about this is that it's something different. We've gone in with the 4-2-3-1 every formation. This is not by any means an attack on Royce. I'm not saying he will never come back into the starting 11. I just think that in certain games we need to approach it differently. And Edin Terzic has experience with the 4-1-4-1, and these players suit the 4-1-4-1. When Royce is healthy and Royce is firing and he wants to be back in the starting 11, Terzic can switch back into his 4-2-3-1. But I am absolutely not writing off Royce. Not a chance. Lone wingers for me. That'd be a 3-4-3. I mean, you could push him up. Do you really think by not putting Royce in the starting 11 is a good step? It's not about this. This wasn't supposed to be about addressing Marco Royce. The main reason I wanted to look at this formation is to offer something differently. We're very stagnant right now in the 4-2-3-1. I don't think Terzic wants to do a 3-4-3. I don't think we have the center backs to pull off a 3-4-3. I do think this formation on paper looks tasty, and I think these players can suit this position. And when Royce needs a rest, because he's going to need rest, he's not going to play every game, this can give us something a little bit differently to address. Guys, let's sign Hernandez from Bayern Munich. I would take Hernandez in a second, but he would never sell it to us. I love this lineup. Schultz might turn things around. The main reason I thought of this formation was because of Guerrero. Guerrero can be such a key player to us. We need to have him doing what he does best, and that's in the attack. I think having a bit of a defensive left midfielder who's obviously very sensational in the attack can link up with Brandt, link up with Holland, link up with Sancho, and then he can also backtrack and knows his defensive duties, and it's a little bit release for Guerrero knowing that Schultz is right there. Maybe you could get Arrizzola on loan from Madrid. I mean, we're not going to address, I don't think, a right back because we have a lot of them. I think Piszczek should be a coach because he's a Dortmund for a long time. He's lost his experience. Might be an assistant coach for Poland. I would take Piszczek as not our manager, but as maybe an assistant coach, a youth coach. I think he's honestly someone who can definitely have a future with Dortmund in the managerial perspective. This formation is good, but we must bring someone in. Yes, a center back. 1,000%. No one else to even address it. It has to be a center back. And we'll see what we can do. Fun fact, we just got around 80 points for Delaney, only 35 points without Delaney last season. I think Delaney will be key to this formation if we do it, but I mean, honestly, this is just me brainstorming. I'm not saying this is going to happen. Can you please stop bashing Berkey? He's not the main issue with scapegoating. I'm assuming you were talking to me. I wasn't bashing Berkey. Berkey, in my opinion, had 2 horrible games. But Berkey's always been a bit of a wild card. He's had games where he stood on his head, and he's had games where he's been a little inconsistent. Unfortunately for Berkey, I mean, I didn't think the Leverkusen was 100% on him. I didn't like the goals he let in. But the Gladbach game, he had a rough go. But so did our defense. There's more than just Berkey on it. I'm definitely not blaming Berkey. That's why I put him in this starting 11 and didn't put in hits. Our defense is shit because they're tired, and Berkey is okay. Well, our defense is tired. That's 100% a fact. That's why, in my opinion, we absolutely need a center back. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But, you know. You guys can go for Brooks as an emergency signing for a cheap center back. He's in form in his prime, and you're starting 11 for 2 years and save money. The Wolfsburg fan giving us tips about who to take. That's great with a lineup. You can swap into a 4-2-3-1 with dropping in as a CDM and hold the lead. Yeah, it could easily be swapped into a 4-2-3-1. As, like you said, Chan goes into the CDM, Brandt goes up as a center attacking mid, and then you have Guerrero and Sancho on the wings. It can be a versatile formation. I'm just trying to find out a way to get the best out of Guerrero because I think he needs to be at his best, as well as that left-hand side. Oh, I love this formation. Very smart, Josh. Well played. Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it, but I don't know if they're going to be addressed. I would love to see this formation in game. It'd be very, very unique, in my opinion. What's your opinion on a 3-5-2 when Hazard returns? I just don't see any way Terzic goes with the 3-5-2, mainly on the fact that we don't have the personnel as center backs. So that's why I'm not even going to address it. I mean, I don't think it'd be a 3-5-2. I think it'd be more of a 3-4-1-2 or 3-4-3, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Schultz might at least backtrack and has juicy pace. That's true, as well as having a bit of a defensive midfielder in front of him. Dortmund should bring in Jules Koundé. 100%. I would love Jules Koundé, but that's not realistic for right now. Maybe in the summertime, but we need a loan signing. Do you think we'll sign anyone in January? We need a CB really badly. Well, I put up a video of 5 transfers for 5 center backs. I linked to loan signings. I would take any one of those 5, except for Tomori, because he obviously went to Milan. But, I mean, Sergi Gomez, I think, is worth a look at Sevilla. He's played 3 games this season. I think we could get him on a 6-month loan deal. Who's your pick for CB? I mean, I would approach Sevilla, but I think maybe it's tough to do that considering we're playing them next. But, I mean, he more than likely wouldn't be eligible to play against Sevilla anyways. I'd go for Eder Militao. I'd go for Sergi Gomez. Maybe even Nicholas Nkulu from Torino. Oh, no, you, Josh. I meant the guys dropping for hits. Yes, and I agree. Like, I wouldn't drop Berkey for hits. I wouldn't. I know he hasn't had a good outing, but hits isn't going to improve it anymore. I think Berkey just needs a little fire under him to get his performance back on track. BBB Twitter's not a good place lately. No, it has not been. We all know the perfect manager for Dortmund is called Josh. I don't know about it being a manager, but I mean, I would love to put a little bit of input on the team. I mean, as a lot of people would as well. I think this is a formation that could do a little bit of damage, and I think it checks the box it's a little more defense, having obviously Guerrero up on that left, covering Schultz when need be. I think Brandt, who in my opinion is on form, I think he could potentially go into that number 8 and shine with Sancho and Holland. There's a lot I like about this formation. Berkey has been horrible, but you're gonna look bad when the defense is slicking like hot butter. Well said. Don't you think bringing in Marco Rose isn't going to take us anywhere other than the Fabra era? I've said it from the very beginning. I don't think Marco Rose is the answer, but every manager we've been linked to, he's, I guess, the best available one. We're very specific about German-speaking managers, so I don't see anyone else who can come in here and make more of a difference than Rose. So for me, Marco Rose is the best, honestly, manager at the moment, and it is what it is. So we'll have to see what actually does happen there. We should sign someone new. Yes, we should. What's your budget on CBs? Do you want a CB that will start over Akanji? Anybody, to be honest, man. Anybody. Just a rotational player so Hummels and Akanji can get some rest. I think Sergi Gomez is a perfect example. I mean, Subasic is now a free agent. Maybe we bring him back. I just think we needed a body in there. We can sign Lars Bender. He's retiring in Leverkusen with his brother. Think Dahoud will be sold this window? I personally don't. I'd be very surprised. But there are a lot of... Subasic, yep, it's a free agent. Could be something. I'd bring him back in a heartbeat, man. Just another body in there. Knows the team, knows what it can be. I think it'd be a romantic return. Announce Josh. I'm not a manager, my friends, but I would love to put in a little bit of advice when I can, especially when it comes to potential transfers or formations. But, I mean, I'm not a manager. I just like to, see what I can do. And I like this formation, and I do like some of the center backs I linked to this team. And I think Sergi Gomez is worth a look. Sorry for calling Berkey the bad R word. I am pissed. Yep, I'm angry as well. So I wanted to come on here and talk with you guys. I woke up very disappointed this morning. I think we're sitting in 7th now. We were low as 8th, but is what it is. Yes, we are missing our fans, 100%. Twitter isn't a good pick in general. Sergi Gomez is an outside pick that I love. Me too, man. Me too. Spanish international, not getting in because of Carlos and Koundé was a great look in my opinion. Sancho, Brandt, and Holland have been our best attackers right now. That's why I got all 3 in this formation, and I think it's worth a shot, man. Totally do. I think it's time to put the pause button on the youngsters for development. It's time to get serious. Yeah, I agree. I think that's why Holland starts every game, because it's hard to want to put Mkuku in. Rose is good. I think he's amazing. He needs to show how to beat Bayern. Very, very true. Dortmund should bring in Koundé, Anuna, and play a 3-5-2. That'd be quite the formation. I wouldn't be against it, but I don't. Obviously, it's going to be for a next year conversation. I think Rose has already joined, just said nothing. I honestly think that's potentially a choice. A lot of people do want Jesse Marsch, and I can see why. I think we need to stop being a feeder club to the large clubs like Madrid and United. I don't think we're much of a feeder club the last few seasons, man. When we picked up Hummels, we picked up Hazard, Brandt, we bought players more than we sold players. So I don't think we're a feeder club by any stretch of the imagination. I want Gomez. I don't think Gomez would come here, but I mean, he is a solid player. Saw a few guys mention, obviously, good old Ramos, but again, I don't think he'll be coming here. But that is my starting 11 that I wanted to potentially look for the next game. The main reason is just getting more of a Guerrero in an attacking sense, losing his defensive awareness, but then obviously being able to backtrack when need be, knowing Schultz is there. I think that left-hand side would be in hopefully good coverage. We need to do something about our center backs, hopefully sign someone so we have a little bit of rotation for Akanji and Hummels. I think Delaney, Chan, and Brandt can do some dangerous thing in that midfield. Brandt would be a love to play in that preferred number 8 for him. And then obviously having that fun attack of Haaland, Sancho, and even Guerrero when need be with Brandt. I think he could do a little bit something, and those are just my thoughts, guys. So if you guys, I just saw the last comment there about the Discord. If you guys, someone can drop the Discord in, or my friend, if you want to message me on Twitter or Instagram, I can give you the Discord. We do really enjoy it right now. It is fun. It's more positive than Twitter. I can tell you that much. Our Discord is definitely more positive than Twitter. So if you want to join that, you can feel free to message me on Twitter or Instagram, and we'll get that for you. But we will need a new manager for the start of next season. I don't know who it's going to be. Right now, I'm assuming it's probably going to look to be Marco Rose. Only time will tell. Let's hopefully Terzic can turn the rest of the season around. But I would love to see Terzic bring in a formation like this, a 4-1-4-1. These players, I think, would suit it and would just give us something different. So I hope you guys did like this. Drop some comments if you guys want to see another type of formation going forward. But for me, I think this is something that could be very interesting. And hopefully, guys, you will take care, and we will see you soon.